take my sunglasses off, my V-neck. Welcome to the Full Charge Power Hour podcast. How many times have I said that in my life?
Not a lot. I'm not a V-necker. You look good in a V-neck.
I like the V-neck. I like the little bit of hair poking out.
It's good.
It's sex appeal.
It is.
Pledge on Patreon, patreon.com/the full charge. Keep me in V-necks.
They are more expensive for some reason.
Make sure you vote. Make sure you vote for Kamala Harris. And we lost so many listeners when in 2016, we were like, Trump got elected, and we flipped out, and we lost them all. So now I can say vote for Kamala Harris. It's not controversial. Actually, we did get a YouTube comment this morning.
Oh, shocking.
And? Well, you know, the guy didn't like Kamala Harris.
Shocking. He likes anger and bitter resentment.
I don't know because I don't watch Fox News. I don't know what's going on the Republican side of things, but there's a couple of things I just feel like are unforgivable. Like the Georgia call where he's like, find me $12,000. Everything he was impeached for, basically. The fact that he was impeached. Just the fact that he doesn't concede elections and didn't call the National Guard on January 6th. I feel like it's enough. This is the major thing. I think people still be like, we can have Trump and then he'll also be gone in 4 years. He's not leaving in 4 years. And the Supreme Court said he can do whatever he wants now. And there will be emergencies declared. And you're going to have a dictator. You're going to have a king. Half of me is almost like, hey, if you're dumb enough, all right, enjoy it, dumbasses.
Right.
Like, just enjoy it. Because I feel like the people that are voting for him are the people that are going to get fucked the hardest.
Oh, of course. And the other thing is, too, like what you're just saying about he's not going away in 4 years. It's not even that. It's then the ideology sticks. And remember, he's also got a whole family behind him.
I know.
Right? So that machine, maybe not the daughter, but clearly the two sons share that same abrasive fuck the world or fuck America, which is really weird that they call themselves America First, because according to them, everything about America is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Right? And it's all the other stuff aside. Like, I'm just so tired of people on one side saying what a shithole the United States is.
Yeah.
And that makes them more American.
I know.
I don't get it. And people that tell me that I live in one of the worst fucking cities in America is fucking hilarious. I'm like, you live here? Because all the things that you're saying are bad. I'm not experiencing any of that stuff. Are you?
No, I mean, I do see homeless people here.
Yeah, of course.
And I see homeless people everywhere I travel.
Yeah.
There's homeless people out there.
Yeah.
And this seems to make people crazy. I've been backed up against an oven in Kentucky by an in-law. Like, they let people shoplift in San Francisco. Like, he lost his fucking mind. Meanwhile, my back is at 450 degrees. Just like, okay. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. I went up in San Francisco.
They want you to concede. That's why I put you against it.
They want me to go. You're absolutely right. I had no idea. I'm now stupid and voting. Sorry, we're not doing that anymore. I'm now voting for a Republican.
Right.
I don't see it that way. I never have seen it that way. And I don't get the anger. I feel like they vote Republican to piss off Democrats. Like, I'm going to find the worst candidate I can think of just to make you mad.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm not thinking about Republican voters when I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
Right.
I'm thinking about what I want for the country.
Right.
Like, you're not involved. Angry person in another state. Angry person in Orange County. And also, is something I was thinking about today. Like, have you ever heard someone on the news like representing the Republican Party and they weren't screaming and shouting? Like, no one's ever been like, yeah, I think Donald Trump is going to be a great president. No one has ever used their indoor voice.
Well, the ones that do eventually get marginalized and kicked out, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
They're not interested in those people because they're semi-normal human beings, and so they're not welcome right now. Right? I don't know, man. It's annoying. And what's funny that you use January 6th against, it's like, for a lot of people, when you have, and I don't watch the debates because it's like, it's a waste of time for me personally, but that whole they're eating cats and dogs thing, like, that's how far over the edge we have gone in the political universe. It's so cartoonish.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so Mike Judge at this point. and we're acting like it's normal. Like some people are acting like it's normal. I was just like, what a fucking waste of time,
dude.
Those debates are when that's the type of topics that you have to have.
I want to get back to that, but you want to talk about Mike Judge? You want to talk about idiocracy? you literally had Hulk Hogan on stage at the Republican National Convention, ripping off a shirt that was the American flag, by the way. And underneath says Trump. Like you got Hulk Hogan. Like that's as dumb. And that's at the point where it wasn't even a contest. We thought he was definitely going to win. And it was just the most depressing fucking thing in the world. It's like, okay, we're this fucking stupid. Man. It's a fact. Watch the Donald Trump Kamala Harris debate, because it's so great how good she is, and so great how stupid and bad he is at even speaking. And then you talk about, like, if this was a job interview, like, who do you think would get the job? It's obviously Kamala Harris.
Unless nepotism is involved, then that's the only angle.
True, and then you could use the argument that you see on Twitter, which is like white, billionaire.
Right.
So, all right, I don't like to talk too much about politics, but it's relevant.
It's very relevant. Like, we're super close.
I feel like I've been bullied into shutting the fuck up on the internet. Like, I don't even bother because I don't feel like it's going to move the needle that much.
So you want to talk about gun regulation now, is what you're saying?
No.
I should say, if you really want to rile them up.
My point is, now's the time to say something.
Yeah.
And I'm just not the guy that does the, and I don't want to discourage anyone else from doing it, but I'm not the phone bank guy. I'm not, like, you get emails all the time. It's like, hey, work the phones for Kamala Harris. Yeah. By the way, it's so weird that she's just called Kamala. Like, no one calls her Harris.
Oh, you're saying they use okay. Oh, yeah.
They use her first name. They use Hillary's first name. They never called her Clinton. It was always Hillary. And it's weird, like, they don't call Trump Donald. Donald says this, Donald says that. What's Donald's plan? It's just strange. I'm not outraged.
No.
I'm not Twitter. What the fuck? Sexist. But it is somehow because of her sex. I don't know if you want to call that sexist. But even the Democrats call her Kamala.
Do you think that's a sports thing? Like a dude thing, right? Like, I don't know, when you were growing up, did your friends start calling you at some point in your teen years by your last name? It was like a cool thing.
Yeah.
But girls in high school didn't seem to do that. It seemed like it was a young dude thing.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, that was a dude thing where it was like all of a sudden, because your first name just, too many people had it.
Right.
And it was kind of like you're representing not really your family, but your distinct personality.
Right, yeah.
And then the rhymes start and the nicknames start. Based off your
spirals.
Next thing you know, you're the full charge.
But that's a good one. I don't have any. I have no nicknames.
People call you Irwin?
Yeah, that's it. That's as far as my nicknames went.
No one's ever called you Big Bry?
No. Some in high school, and it bothered me a lot, called me B.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't like that because when I was growing up, the reruns of the Andy Griffith Show used to be on, and it was Aunt B.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't want to be affiliated with somebody's aunt.
Yeah.
That was it. That was as close as it ever got with me. Now I don't care and care less.
Sure. As long as someone's calling you once a week or something.
Just acknowledge my presence at this point.
I went through something that, it didn't seem like that. It did seem like a big deal at the time. And I think it laid the groundwork for a lot of the way I feel in life. There were two Matts in my class.
All right.
Matt Ikonowski. Very ethnic for Southern Maryland.
Yes.
And Matt Fulcheron. So they called him Matt, and I was Matt F. And I resented that. Like, how come
they gave him first?
Yeah, how come I'm not Matt and he's Matt I?
I can tell you why. They felt bad because his name was going to be bastardized way more often than yours.
Yeah.
They were going to get way closer, even if they didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
His name, forget it. At that... It's not happening.
Ikonowski. I still remember it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted them to call him Matt Ikonowski, and I could just be Matt.
Did he get called Ikonowski in gym, though, when the gym coach got pissed? That would be the only time I could see him using it, because gym coaches are pretty good with
This was only grade school. I don't remember gym.
Grade school. You're going deep on your memories.
I left the school
because of that.
In the 3rd grade, kind of. I did this. It was the beginning of a move that I would make the rest of my life, which was kind of silly. I'd be like, I'm unhappy. I'm changing schools. Then you change schools and you realize, that's just my DNA. Mm-hmm. I've done it. I've changed college all the way through college. I've moved back and forth on the coast a million times. What's that AA saying? Well, no, it's wherever you go, there you are. Buck Bonzaroo. What is it, Aaron?
I thought that was Aaron. Probably he can Google it while I'm coming. I thought that was Austin Powers.
No, there's a movie. I gotta look it up. And in the meantime, like
I'll look it up.
It's I think Jeff Goldblum's in the movie.
That's Buckaroo Banzai.
Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah, okay, all right.
That's it. You don't have to look it up.
Okay.
There, good. See, how dare you use your brain versus the internet to remember something? That was great.
Yeah.
Really good exercise
there.
So
if you're unhappy, don't move. Just fucking get to work or something. I don't know.
But don't ever be second place Matt. Okay? It doesn't feel good.
When I went to the new school, I was the only Matt. And things were exactly the same.
See, when you were in first position Matt, it didn't really fit. Okay.
No.
By the way, I went to a donut shop yesterday, and 3 old timers, maybe vets, maybe not, were referring to Trump as T-Bone.
T-Bone.
Which I thought was crazy.
Yeah, because he's about to T-bone the fucking country if he wins.
They seem to be in the pro as well.
They were pro-Trump.
Yeah.
Oh, with no doubt about it.
Of course. Yeah. T-Bone's like, it's masculine, it's cool.
Yeah.
And
he's like your bro.
I get what you're saying. Like, it's a term of affection, and it is a nickname based off the last name. So, listen.
So it'll be over soon. Let's just look at it that way.
It's been too much of this. This is the 3rd election of this now.
Yeah.
The first election didn't cause me much stress because I thought there's no way even one person is going to vote for this guy. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
I voted. I'm not one of these people like, I think my candidate's definitely going to win. I'm not going to vote. I vote anyway. You know?
That's the only ad that they should be showing from here on out is the next day's reaction of most of America when that shit happened.
Yeah.
That's all people needed to be reminded of, and they should be like, oh, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, don't let that happen again.
I was at home in my parents' house. I was doing like a run of stand-up that just wouldn't make any sense financially if I didn't rent out my apartment to somebody. And I rented it out to these kids, by the way. This is a whole nother story.
Oh, yeah. You got to share that story sometime.
Do you know this story?
I know there's holes in the wall and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, so my friend recommended these 2 skater kids, and I'm a skater. So I was like, yeah. They're from Southern Maryland, where I grew up. And it was like, yeah, of course. Like, let them rent it out. And long story short, they just trashed the place. All the neighbors hated them. They would hang out on all these steps. They were smoking all over my apartment. They punched holes in the wall. They broke the toilet on purpose. It was the craziest thing. Like, I can't imagine doing that. And my friend, I have a friend who was just like, yeah, because they're skaters. You should have never rented to skaters. And he really came after me. Like, how could you be so stupid?
But he was the one who recommended them.
No, I'm talking about a different friend.
Okay.
I'm talking about a different friend. And I was just like, dude, I could never imagine that anyone, my lifelong friend recommended these kids, and was the facilitator. Anyways, I'm going through all this bullshit from the other side of the country. I go to a bar in my hometown with my friend who I used to lifeguard with. He now runs the whole Navy base there. I don't even know what it's called. He's probably I don't even know I used to call it King of the Base when I was a lifeguard, and he thought that was funny. So now he tells me he's King of the Base. He doesn't bother using the real terms with me.
Well, why not?
Yeah. So we're just in this bar. It's a small town. It's a half college town bar, half just local bar. And we're the only ones paying attention to the TV, and we're freaking out. And I remember you have to get hammered at that point. I just got hammered, and I remember hearing my dad in the kitchen in the morning just going, he's like, well, I guess I'll go to work now that I have President Trump. Like, he was so, like, that's the only negative thing I've heard my dad say about it. Like, he just doesn't, he doesn't talk about politics. It was just awful. I couldn't believe it happened. It was almost to the point where it was like, are we really going to go through with this? And of course the answer is yes.
Yep.
We have to respect the process. We have to respect the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody else is like, we lost.
Only one side has to respect it.
Yeah. And that's why it's so hard to win if you're the turn the other cheek party, which is ironic. That's the Christians' party main slogan. I don't know. We got to get off it.
Yeah. Let's go on to fun stuff, fun talks. Fun chats.
Let's do some open mic. I wrote down a bunch of things.
Okay.
I wrote down, and I don't really get out and do open mics that much anymore.
But you actually did an open mic?
No, I'm saying this
right now
is an open mic, but this is a great open mic because you're actually going to help me.
Okay, and we also used to do open mics together, so we know the rules.
And you're also going to give me the benefit of the doubt. You're gonna. This isn't stand up. This is improv.
Right.
This is an improv exercise.
All right, I'll try to get out of the box. Let me prepare myself.
Which stand up would only be so great if the audience wanted to work with you.
Yeah,
half the time.
I think that's part of the muscle, man. That's the muscle you have to build, though. That's called survival. If you can survive that, you know.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying it should be any different. I'm just saying if only.
Yeah.
That's what I thought stand up was going to be like before I started. I thought I was just going to go up and just be like, oh, this guy got up on stage. We're going to go along with everything.
Yeah, moving along. Get out of his way. Get out of his way. Let's help him as much as we can.
And you realize, and you should, it shouldn't be different, but you do have to win them over with your humor, which you should be able to do. Otherwise, you need to get the fuck off stage. LA is so cool because I do have all my comedy friends here that I started out with. I also have all my Maryland friends here. I have lifelong friends here who I went to college with, and some even went to high school with, and also moved out to LA with this 4 or 5 guys. And it's cool. Like I go watch, I'm not really into football, but like for instance, I went and watched the Commanders game on Sunday. It was the Beltway Bowl.
Yes, that was a big game for you guys.
So Baltimore and DC, my friends tend to be DC fans because people don't realize Ravens are kind of new to someone my age. Yeah. Anyway, also a dinner party on Friday night, my friend's birthday, and it's very interesting to me that these are like my party friends. I went to college with them. I moved out to LA with them, and like the first 5 years of LA was just, it was like we were in Led Zeppelin or something. It was just raging to the point where we have a party and that's all we talk about. Back then, I used to try, you go to a party with these guys, I used to try to drink and get as fucked up as possible. Now I hang out with these people, I try to stay as sober as possible. Do you know what I mean? Like you're hanging out with these people or any get together, and your goal is, I'm only going to have 2 drinks. I'm only going to have 2 drinks. I'm only going to have 2 drinks. Then you have 2 drinks, but you're still at the party.
Yep.
You still have an hour to go, 2 hours to go, 3 hours to go. You don't even know when you're getting out of there. You start drinking. How do you deal with this? You like beer.
Yeah, I do.
You like alcohol.
I do.
You don't like being hungover.
No, I don't.
What's your game plan at a party and the holidays are coming up? It's spooky season. What do you do as far as combating a hangover in your adult life?
You leave early.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, I've just gotten to the point where I know if I stay, I only know one way.
Me
Not
too.
an alcoholic. I'm just saying when I'm out, I want to have something in my hand at all times. And I always am envious of people who can stay a long time and like hold bottles of water and shit. I'm like, that's the coolest person in the room. They've got full, complete control.
Well, this is what I did.
And I don't have it.
This is what I did. And I had full, for some reason, this was harder than usual. I don't know why. I think because everyone else was just letting loose and drinking.
Yeah.
and I switched to water after 2 drinks.
All right.
And the only reason I could do it is because I drove there.
Yeah. Okay.
That
helps.
That was an insurance policy I set up for myself. I'm like, if I drive there, I won't drink. But then my 2 drinks are done within 45 minutes, and it's a small party, so you can't Irish out. You can't just Homer Simpson into the bushes, which is totally my move.
Right.
Like, yeah, let me go check my car. I think I got to feed the meter, and I'm gone. And no one cares either.
Yeah.
But this time, I actually got to the point where I'm like, Uber. I'm going to do the Uber. Didn't do it. Held out. Got home sober.
Feels good though, doesn't it?
It feels
the accomplishment part of it.
It does, because I'm just so bad with the sleep. I could have beat the DUI as far as like getting an Uber, but then you're home, then you're fucked up, then you can't sleep, then the whole next day sucks. That's what I hate, is the whole next day sucks, and I can't even take a nap from alcohol. Like, I can't even take a nap the next day. I don't know what it does to my body, but I can't sleep if I get hammered on alcohol.
No, most people can't. It actually disrupts your sleep. That's why, like, if you take breaks from alcohol, it takes about 6 weeks, I think, to get it completely, your body to kind of readjust. And then all of a sudden you go, why am I sleeping so well all of a sudden?
Yeah, I know.
What are all these wonderful things?
Yeah.
Why does everything smell better and taste better? And you're like, oh, wait.
Better quality of life.
All these things are true. And also what's true is occasionally having some drinks and having fun is also a good thing. The problem is when you get older, the struggle is real after the fact.
I know.
Right? There's no bounce back left.
Yeah.
Your body's like, no, we're not doing that anymore. Because it's trying to send you a message.
Yeah.
Right? I think the bigger thing is, and you can tell me I don't know where you are as far as a conversationalist at a party, but I think the longer you stay at a party and the longer you stay sober versus the other people, are the conversations even worthwhile anymore?
No. If you stay sober, you realize you're living on a different planet. And it must be really funny for sober people to like even go to a party, because it almost is like an escape too, because like other people are going to be acting crazy. And so you get to kind of watch that. But it does get obnoxious
after a while,
and you just want to go home.
Some friends of ours who were really nameless because the drug is illegal. I was at a party once where they were just handing out cocaine like it was candy. I am not a cocaine guy.
Me neither.
That shit spirals out of control so fast. I do not want to be around those people.
No,
because they get annoying. That's almost instant. Like it's over. Like once they go down that path, they all have to hang out with each other. You cannot be sober.
As soon as you hear the word coke or nose candy or whatever the fuck they call it, if somebody touches their nostril, you might as well go home.
Yeah.
Because they are now bringing go-getter office energy to a chill hang.
Yeah.
And they just get into it. It's too much. You can't keep up with it. You don't care about what they're talking about, but they'll stay on subject for 12 minutes. It's awful. The first second, I'm going to say literally the first 3 hours I got to L.A., a coke party broke out. 1997, we have this long trip out from Maryland to L.A. We're staying with a friend of ours that my friend knows. And we stop in West Virginia and party. We stop in Fort Collins, Colorado and party. We take a slow drive from there because like the responsibilities are pending.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you get to Los Angeles, you're going to have to start figuring out your adult life. I'm already 23 at this point. Like it kind of should have started a couple years prior.
No, too hard on yourself.
Whatever. We even stop in Las Vegas for like a couple hours on the way.
It's like that's where you really start building up to head to LA, right?
I mean,
it's the perfect stop.
We're right there.
Yeah,
we should just go to LA, but we stopped and for no good reason either.
What's Vegas?
Well, it's Vegas, but also like maybe we gambled, like I did a money wheel. And then I remembered we were in, I think it's Caesar's Palace where there's a shopping center. So now we're basically just in a mall walking around and my friend is shopping and at that point I go, what are we doing? We got to get on the road. So we get to Venice at this young woman's house. She's about 23 too. And we're hanging out and we're tired. And she goes, hey, do you guys mind if I blow some coke? And I was just
Great term.
No, like it's your house, but also I think that was the closest I'd never been in the same room as cocaine before.
Oh, okay.
At this point in my life.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant other than that. Okay.
And I reluctantly said yes, only because it wasn't
not your place
my
to say
house.
No, yeah.
And it just felt like 90210, like very special episode. And now everyone's doing cocaine.
Except you.
Except me and I had two friends. One of them did the coke, one of them didn't.
Okay.
And it was just wild that it was that stereotypical. That, okay, you get to LA and a coke party just breaks out. Because that seems like more of a stereotype from like the 80s.
Right.
To the point where I was like, people do cocaine? I didn't think people did cocaine. But cocaine will never die.
No.
Everyone
it turns
loves
out.
the cocaine.
I would agree with you. I would have thought the same thing. Though I had never done it.
Yeah.
Though I'm pretty ignorant to it in general, I never would have thought it would have had been the carryover drug for so many decades.
Right.
But boy, people are really keeping it strong. And you would think that the fentanyl would slow people down with it, but nope. People are still doing coke, even with fentanyl's in it.
I double stopped doing cocaine. Not that I ever did it that much. Maybe a handful of times. But like, I already didn't do cocaine. And then when I heard about the fentanyl, I said, well, I definitely don't do cocaine. Ever. I mean, I got high blood pressure. I would have to be a fucking asshole to take blood pressure medication and then do cocaine. That is so stupid.
Yeah.
Never been a fan. The say no to drugs thing worked on me 100%. It was only after I learned that marijuana isn't really that bad. I didn't start smoking weed until like in my 40s, until it became legal. That's how square I am.
Me too.
I
had it a couple times before that,
but it was just so, you never got a chance to figure it out. So you would maybe smoke weed at a party when you were already drinking, and like, I don't know how it affects you. Me, I just sit on the couch and people want to talk to me and I'm like, I got nothing. I can't. It goes too slow. And when I say something, I'm like, that didn't come out right. So I was never into it. And I was never into like developing a relationship with a weed dealer or anything like that. So I never really bought weed. So I never got a chance to get used to it.
No, it's not. By the way, I was speaking of weed. It's funny you bring up weed. So I'm still kind of recovering. I had to work an overnight.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre music video, downtown Los Angeles.
This
Speaking
weekend?
of smoking weed. And it was funny. I was standing next to this guy, and I don't think Snoop ever stopped smoking weed the whole time.
Yeah.
And my theory was, when the guy was like, I can't believe how much weed he smokes. And I said, it's probably because the dude doesn't get high anymore. Like, I'm assuming it's the same thing like anything, right? You do it enough.
It's like coffee.
It takes forever for you to get something. But boy, he was loving it.
Yeah, no, I think at that point you're just smoking so you don't go into withdrawal.
Right. And you also don't have to be sober with all these people around.
Yeah, right. But
probably for him, I'm guessing.
But does it still work?
I don't know. I wasn't going to ask.
It's got to do something because he just keeps smoking. But it's also just like at that point, the habit of smoking.
Yeah.
Like he's got to have it going.
Yeah.
Hey, it's working for him.
It is. It's his whole trait. And as I turn to the guy, I go, why are we even talking about Snoop Dogg and weed? Like, isn't like that's, other than his music, isn't that what basically isn't he the face of weed for the last 2 decades?
He definitely is. 3
decades.
3 decades. He made his debut on an album called The Chronic. Another word, a slang for marijuana.
Yeah.
I did buy weed one time from somebody I worked with at this office I worked at, and I went to her apartment, like right on Hollywood Boulevard. And I remember she wanted $65 for X amount of weed. And I don't even know if it was a good deal or not. Like still to this day. Well, it kind of was because she wanted 65 and I handed her 60. And she was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, this is a drug deal. You got to have it all. And I was like, I'll get you at work. I'll get you that $5 at work. And she was just like...
Oh, she saw you as an addict.
She was just like, rookie. She didn't see me as an addict. She saw me as like a first timer who didn't know, like, yeah, like we know each other. This is cool.
Do we taste it? Do I put some on my underneath my gums? Like, what do we do to make sure this stuff's legit?
That is just
pencil shavings.
That's bad drug dealing etiquette. Drug buying etiquette. You're not supposed to do that.
I saw. I've got one more embarrassing than you. So I'm in this fantasy football league, right? So there's a lot of guys in there that I don't really know, right? And we were talking about how weed had become legal. So near my house, they had opened up a shop. So I was like, I'm gonna go get myself some stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I'm new. I don't know the whole thing of like how you get into these places, right?
How long ago was this?
This is a couple years ago.
Because it was the type of thing. Oh, you just tell the story. You tell the story.
No, it was a couple years ago. Right? Like it was right in when they really stayed. There hadn't been now. There's a ton of those places, right?
Yeah.
But this is the early stages where they were just kind of selectively placed all over the place. It was hard to get permits.
My only question is, and this is probably part of the story, so forgive me. Did you have to go and get your license first, and then go to the weed store? Because that's when I started.
No. So I was phase 2 when they finally opened it up.
That's the good phase.
Where you didn't have to claim to have a problem.
Right.
Right? Of
so,
some sort.
So I had to bring in this big piece of paper because it was like $25 for this big laminated piece of paper. But it was like $100 for like
the little
an ID.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
But the ID is actually would have been a great thing to get. And you'd probably still get it if you travel. Because at least, and it's not going to do you that much good.
Right.
But at least you have something.
Yeah.
That's like,
I need this.
yeah, right. Something.
Kind of
just
like
something.
So it's kind of like getting one of those, pets, right? You have to have the pet.
Yeah, like what are those called? Emotional support
animals, yeah.
Which we're to the point now where you see it and you just get angry.
It's out of control. Well, because most of it's a lie. It's the same thing.
That's the thing.
You can just go get it to get it, right?
It's like the glaucoma of emotions.
I'll get back to the story in a sec, but it reminded me one time. My wife likes to order stuff off of Amazon, and one time I opened up an Amazon bag or a package, and it was like an emotional support animal thing that you put on the dog, and I was like, "What is this?" And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, we're not doing this."
Really?
I'm like, we are not faking it, so you can take the dog's places. We're not going to be those people.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I was just thinking. I'm like, we're done thinking. It's not happening. I can't.
You put your foot down on that.
Dude, come on.
I got to hand it to you. No. I mean, I feel the same way. But if my wife did it, I don't know that I could tell her. Because also, that's awesome, though, because you don't want to be judged the way you judge other people when you see it.
It's not even that.
What is it?
We don't have, our dogs are not the Mr. Muffin Pantses of the world that don't react to anything. Right. They were the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So even with the red vest of savior on them, they were going to be assholes wherever they went.
Right.
So it's pretty obvious they're not emotional support or well trained.
Right.
It was such a lose-lose.
Yeah. It would have stood out like a sore thumb. Yeah. You're like, this is your emotional support? Seems like it's causing a lot of distress.
I'd have to pull out my emergency blind glasses and stick to get out of getting yelled at. So anyway, I go to the weed place, and I didn't know they got to check in with your ID, right? They got to scan your ID. Then they let you go through one door so they can let you through another door.
It's easier to buy a gun.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I get in there, and I see this guy that I had just met in the fantasy football group, and I'm like, hey man, you get weed too? And he's like, oh Christ. Like, who
says that?
That's like going to a bar and being, hey Matt, you get beer too?
Dude, I get drunk all the time. I just started. It's awesome.
I'm like, what kind of stuff did you get? And he was like, I'm like literally asking, like 101, like, so I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff here, huh? Like, I'm so, and he finally turned to me and was like, hey man, it is really good to see you.
Right.
But he goes, you're probably freaking everybody out around here. And so you probably just, when we go in these places, we kind of take it down a notch.
Yeah.
Like he schooled me.
That's
not
so
in a
funny.
mean way.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, gotcha.
It is funny. You don't think about it that much, but going to a weed dispensary is like going to a library.
Right.
Everyone is they're very quiet, very chill. They don't want like all this kinetic energy for some reason. And I think part of it is just like, I can't believe we have this.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is legal. Let's, nobody move. Nobody call any attention to this situation.
It's so true, guy. Yeah. And I know that especially in California, they have opened it up to a lot of people like me, and I know they just have to tolerate us.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's such good money.
Yeah.
It's great money, actually.
It's cash money.
It's cash money.
And the best part is, just how expert a lot of some people don't really care. Some people are too cool too. I'll even ask like, what's good for a sativa pre-roll? And I had this one girl with like a full neck tattoo that was really hot. That was just like, okay, old man, like I don't know. Like that's actually an honest answer.
Yes.
But there's this guy at my weed shop who will be like, all right,
he's
what
stoked.
kind of money you want to spend and what can you put up as collateral?
What kind of car you got?
This guy sold me a $20 joint. But the real answer is like, it's all the same.
Yeah.
It's all the same. It's not all the same, but it also, I have a gummy that helps me sleep, but that's because there's like something else in it called CBN.
Yeah.
Like it's not THC.
No.
You can sit there all night in bed like, it can be like a whole horror show for your brain on the wrong day.
Yeah.
And then you can't sleep at all. You get fixated on stuff.
No, I've taken that stuff before and accidentally woken up.
Yeah.
In the middle of it.
Yeah.
And because you forget, and you're like, what's going on right now?
Yeah.
And then you're just fucked.
Right. I had a manager that used to do that with Xanax. Like he would just like sleepwalk and send emails. I think he still does it because me and a friend of mine, like he doesn't represent us anymore, but we get these crazy emails that don't always make any sense. And I think he's just on drugs. He's mad at us because we talked shit about him one time on a podcast, which we shouldn't have done. We shouldn't have named names or whatever. But also, like on that same podcast, I talk about this book that this girl I was dating gave me. It was called like Man the Fuck Up, and we went through it. It was like a really anti-man book.
I'm sorry, were you behaving in a way that she felt you needed to read this book?
Well, this book was almost about me. It was about like an immature man who didn't open his mail, and none of the cups matched in the cupboard. And it was so about me that I was like, I'm not even calling this girl again, because why would I walk her through her book?
Right.
Like I'm just a disappointment.
Right.
And I'm going to take out the name of the book because last time when I edit this, I'm going to take out the name of the book because last time people who listen to the podcast just went on Amazon or whatever the book review shit is and just trashed their book.
Oh, really?
Which was so mean.
Wait a minute. You know the person that wrote the book?
Yeah.
I thought you said she gave you a book. It was her book. Got it. Okay, my bad.
She wrote the book. Yeah,
that.
Sorry about that. She wrote the book and she gave it to me and I kind of went through it, which, wasn't the coolest thing to do in hindsight, but I was so naive. I put so much like good faith in the good people of the internet. I don't realize that they're going to go on there. And she had like 25 like really nasty reviews from people who didn't even read the book.
Did you do something about it or did you just remove yourself?
I was not mature enough at the time. This is me doing something about it. Shame on you people. It was before 2016, so we probably lost all these assholes anyways.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I was just like, ooh, I felt bad about it. Almost bad enough to do something about it.
Almost.
But I was embarrassed about it, and it just felt out of my control, and I didn't know what to do about it at the time. I should have left a good review.
You still can.
I still can, yeah.
You still can.
Hopefully she took it down. I mean, she shouldn't live with that.
I don't know what the rules are of Amazon and how you can do it.
Oh, yeah, fuck. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Does they call that doxing? Is that what doxing is? Or doxing is when you out somebody for where they live?
Doxing, yeah, out somebody for anything.
Oh, okay.
But even where they live or
phone numbers and all that shit.
Yeah.
Great time in America. Great time.
It's just so nice to be alive right now.
All these assholes to have such close access and easy access to assholes. It's never been better.
Yeah.
Right?
I just it's crazy just how like spoiled people are that they have the time to do this and they just don't appreciate it's just fucking crazy. Anyway.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's that open mic bit. That was way longer than any open mic spot. They're usually only 5 minutes.
By the way, I sent pictures to my kids. Mm-hmm. They knew what I was working with, and I thought, okay, this is going to elevate me to another level of cool.
Yeah.
My dad is working with Snoop Dogg and Dr.
Oh,
Dre.
yeah, cool. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Well, finally, somebody.
They don't care. It's almost like...
I don't know if they didn't care, but like, here as a dad, this is what you want. You want them to be like, I'm going to tell I want to hear them on video game headphones going, you know what my dad did last night?
Yeah.
It doesn't make it they go, huh, cool. And they move on.
It's a different time.
And they're not being mean.
Yeah.
At all, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, you got to figure how weird it is for them that even regular people are famous now.
Right.
Like even people on Instagram are famous for nothing else but being on Instagram. I do think it's strange. Like, I wasn't the biggest Rolling Stones fan when I was 17. But if my dad told me he was working with Mick Jagger, I'd be like, that's pretty fucking cool.
Right.
And I would tell all my friends about it. I'd be on a landline playing the video games talking to them about it. Which we probably weren't even allowed to do two things at one time. Now it's all part of it. But that is weird. And it's just weird how many people are quote unquote famous right now. And somebody that reviews food for a living on TikTok is just as famous as, say, I don't know, Lana Del Rey, who can actually sing.
Yeah. I literally watched that movie Wolves on Apple TV with one of my boys. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I had to ask this question, but I was curious given the generation, I'm like, do you know who these two stars are?
Yeah.
Do you actually know them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who they are. And I said, what are their names? And they said, George Clooney and Brad Pitt. And I said, do you know why they're famous? And fortunately he was like, yeah, and he kind of listed some stuff. And I was, oh, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Like I was really worried.
Yeah.
That they were going to be that detached. They're like, I don't know them. I think them old dudes are famous or whatever because, your old timey shit.
Yeah.
If you want to watch it, that's fine. I was pleasantly surprised given everything you just said about this generation.
Right. For
better or worse, I don't give two shits. If that's what you want for fame is like Instagram people, I don't care. But I was happy that at least a part of Hollywood still fucking matters.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally. Yeah. Like, and because you want to believe, but you're not sure. You're like, these guys are so fucking famous to me, but they are doing a straight to Apple TV movie here,
right?
Which I thought was pretty good, by the way.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Wendell's not here to review it, so 5 ice. I'll give it 4.5 ice cream trucks. I really enjoyed it. Not a perfect movie, but still really entertaining.
Good movie for a streamer.
And they're great. They're great actors, great movie stars, whatever you want to call it. They both got it.
Yeah.
There was a reason
you knew
why
they were
going to
do something together. It was going to be good. It wasn't going to be bad. It wasn't going to be flat.
I'd like to see you TikTokers try to fucking carry a movie. They're like, we don't need to. We have TikTok. We just go, we wake up, we tell what we had for breakfast, and then we get paid.
By the way, speaking of the hate, did you see that article that came out? I don't know, was the Hollywood Reporter or Variety that put all the they put out a new edition, and it was like all the big stars of Hollywood, and it was all, I guess, Instagram and TikTok stars, and just the fucking the old Hollywood guard of people, not famous people, but like people that believe in the Hollywood structure, just lost their shit on them. Well, and it was just, they were like, what the fuck is this? This is not, they're not actors. They're not out here doing the art. Like what? I'm indifferent about the whole thing, so I don't care, but
I get both perspectives. It's like, you have to acknowledge this, or else you are the dinosaur that you are.
Right.
It doesn't change it. But also just to give it away to the TikTokers.
Yeah.
Who don't even hold the phone sideways anymore.
That even makes you old now. I was with people the other day, and I can't stand it when people video things straight up.
It's not right.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Line up that fucking shot.
It's sacrilegious.
Make it dirty if you have to. Get it over the shoulder. Let's get, come on.
There should be something going on this side of the screen, something going on this side of the screen. And it's very, very funny what has happened, because we grew up on renting VHSs where they would, what was called pan and scan, where you didn't get the whole picture that you saw in the movie theater. And we finally got to a place in the past 20 years where TV is now the rectangle that a movie screen is. And social media was like, we're back to pan and scan. So you know what I'm going to do with this rectangular video right now? I have a computer app. I'm going to edit this, and then I'm going to put it on this website, and it's going to pan and scan and make it into a vertical thing.
Yeah.
That you're watching right now. Won't make sense on YouTube. Make a lot of sense on Instagram when I do that. It's really strange.
I mean, it is. Again, everything's for the phone now. I get it. I'm always about moving forward. I get technology. I'm always interested to see where it's going to go next.
Do you think the Hollywood industry can survive?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the easiest way to explain it to anybody is, and because you were a part of this too, there was such a get the fuck out of here with records.
Yeah.
Because CDs were where it was at.
Yeah.
It's the future. Fuck records. Cassettes, I totally understand, because cassettes don't last.
Yeah.
They melt in the sun. You know what I mean? They're not designed to last. But there was this huge, like, don't ever make records again. Fuck record players. Remember that whole thing?
Of course, yeah.
And it's back. So I do think that there are certain parts that come full circle. It's just not going to be
Well, records don't make that much money, though.
No, I was going to say so it's not going to be, you're not going to see movie theaters the way you saw them before.
Yeah.
You're going to see select multiplex, or you're going to see the ones that feed you. Or they
so,
give you the comfy couches. That stuff's going to survive. It's going to be harder to make movies that go to movie theaters.
I love the business model. It's like, we know you like watching movies at home. What if you could get in your car, find parking, and then have a home environment simulated?
Yeah. For 10 times the amount of money you would have spent at home.
Right.
With people you don't want to fucking sit next to. There's the problem.
Oh, dude, that is the biggest problem. Someone's just going to ruin your fucking night.
I've had it. I remember.
It happens every time.
You ever walked out on a movie because you were so fucking pissed off and people wouldn't shut the fuck up, or they were annoying as shit?
I stay and just hate them and have fantasies about fighting them. Then I realize I can't fight. And then when I do say something to people, I totally regret it. It's this weird. I'm the type of person where, like, if I say something, I regret it, and if I don't say something, I regret it. It's a lose-lose.
No wonder you and I know each other.
Yeah.
The exact same way.
I totally old manned on this kid in New York. He was talking to his girlfriend the whole time, and I was just letting it go and letting it go and letting it go. But then my wife was like, "Yeah, that guy like really ruined the movie for me." And then it put it in my head that, like, oh man, I should have said something. And then I'm walking to the bathroom and I see the kid and I go, "Hey man." He's like sitting on the ground. He's such a kid. You know what I mean? He's like 18, 20 years old.
Flexible.
Yeah.
He
Like,
can get up very easily from the ground.
But also this dynamic is I'm like now like much taller than him because he's on the ground. I go, "Hey man, you talk a lot in the movie."
Did you really say that?
Yeah. And he's about to say sorry. And I go, "Shut up." And then I walked in and it was like there was other people around. And I go in the bathroom and I can't even piss for like 4 minutes because my adrenaline is fucking jacked.
Are you still feeling good at this moment, or are you now starting to?
Never felt good.
Okay. All
I
right.
went from feeling like a pussy to feeling like a dick. Do you know what I mean? It's like, he's just a kid. You know, he's just a kid, and I embarrassed myself. Like, I felt like I embarrassed myself because I immediately lost control. Like, I lost control of myself. Luckily, I just kept moving, but I felt like such a. You also like instantly feel like an old dude.
Hey, look, I will. If it makes you feel any better, at least you didn't say. And then I turned around to everybody that was watching and go, "You guys all know what I'm talking about, right?" Even if you weren't in there, you would not like this shit. Like, you didn't try to bring.
It was dumb to even go. It was a Saturday night. It was a horror movie called Smile. Who even needs to hear it? And people were talking throughout the whole theater. Nobody would have had my back. No. It was just the guy next to me that was bothering me the worst. You know? So now I have to when I go to the movies, I have to just like have a talk with myself and be like, people are going to talk. You're just going to have to accept that, or just don't even go. What drives me nuts now is there's always somebody. To me, the previews are part of the show, but people will just talk straight through the previews to the point where, like, I'm like, am I going to have to say something to these people? Am I going to have to say something to these people? they better stop. And like the Warner Brothers thing comes up and they're still talking. You're like, oh man, they're gonna talk through the whole fucking movie. And luckily, movies are so goddamn loud.
So loud
that I've started wearing earplugs to the movies.
Oh no, you're that. No, you have become that guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
My wife got me some like stealth, but you don't put them in till it's like dark. And like even if somebody did see me, I don't care.
That's okay.
And
it's good to be at that point,
it's good because trust me, you can still hear the movie.
Yeah.
It's like going to see Metallica nowadays. And you also can't hear people talking as easily. So
I will tell you though, just for future reference.
Yeah.
There is a way to empower yourself in a movie theater when someone is talking and get them to shut up.
Okay.
1, it has to be pretty crowded.
Yeah.
2, you have to yell it to them from very fucking far away.
Yeah.
That will shut them up.
Right.
Because they don't know who said it,
Yeah.
where it came from. You're not sitting next to them, so
Yeah.
they can't give you the fuck you, motherfucker. Now
Yeah.
I'm going to double down on it.
Yeah.
They don't know what you look like.
Yeah.
Right? How many people got your back?
Yeah.
And most likely, other people around you will laugh at you for saying it.
Yes.
So then you get a little bit of a light chuckle on top of your shut the fuck up. They were going to shut up now because they feel like other people are with you.
They feel like the whole theater.
So that's
hates
the
them.
angle.
Yeah.
I've done that one before, and I've been okay with it.
Yeah. That's a good one.
The long distance shut the fuck up.
That's a bold one.
Yeah.
You passed the bomb for the touchdown. I'm getting into football, man. What can I tell you?
That's good. I'm excited. I love football. Proud of you.
Yeah, it's fun. All right. We got a little bit of time left for my open mic. I'm getting lazy in a good way. Did you ever reach this point in your life, and I'll explain, where you're convinced your whole life that working hard and being miserable is the answer? And then you get to about 50 and you go, yeah, I got a lot out of it, but also, what the fuck? I didn't get enough out of it. Like, I'm just going to keep working my ass off when I don't even have a job and I don't even get paid? So I went for, I'm going to work hard even though I don't have a job, to I'm just going to not work hard and not get paid. What do you think about this? I feel a lot better. I feel like so much better that I've kind of like, because me, I still work every day. I still put time in on my career. But do I have to be wall to wall, miserable, posting 10 videos a fucking week when they all get the same? Like it never grows? Like what is that? You're convinced that like that's the only way to do it. But is it really worth your time?
You've had an awakening, my friend.
Yes.
That's what it is.
I know.
You finally realize that you don't have to swim in that stream.
I know.
And not feel unfulfilled because you're not swimming in that stream.
Yeah. Because it's and it's because the whole business is social media now.
All life is social media.
All life is social media now.
Not just business.
It's like, and I saw this documentary on social media and it's 100% true. It's a total drug. So let's say you put out a video and it gets like 1 million views. Fucking awesome. Next day, you got to put out another video. And if it doesn't get 1 million views, you get that crash, that dissatisfaction. And then the only way to get out of that is to put up another video and another video. And it's like taking drugs. It never hits that satisfaction level again.
Nope. You're on Policeman versus Fireman.
Was Policeman versus Fireman?
That was the video that
was your video.
Way back on YouTube back in the day.
Right.
Back when you could be featured on the front page of YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And it was fucking not with 50 other things. It was kind of by itself.
Yeah.
That happened. Mm-hmm. And then I felt obligated.
Yeah.
To live up to whatever that was, that million views overnight. Now I'm like, all right, what's next? And it's just like each one was a click, click, click. It was just a stairwell going to hell, dude. It's like literally just going down, 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 no matter what I did. I was like, it's not, where's the uptick? It's just, you're just walking to a basement. It's fucking dark down there. And there's no fucking light when you turn it down at the bottom. And you're just fucking down in a dank basement.
I lose followers when I post a lot. They're like, enough of this shit.
Which is so weird, right? Because you're told the exact opposite, right? You keep cranking it out. At some point, you're gonna go the other way, and people are doing the exact opposite.
It's like, enough with this shit. Because it's too much. It's too much Matt Fulcheron.
And wasn't that you that was telling me that like some like dad of a friend of yours said, I can't don't stop sending me shit? That's what ends up happening, right? In high volume, somebody you know is going to actually physically say something to you like, that's a wrap, son.
Here's the worst. I know, it's crazy, right? Here's the worst part of it as far as I'm concerned in the stand-up comedy business right now. You are now expected to produce and pay for your own $10,000 to $20,000 special and put it on YouTube yourself. Essentially, just to, and I've seen people do it very successfully.
Yeah.
Greg Fitzsimmons just did it very successfully. Louis Katz did it very successfully. Go on all these podcasts and do like the press run like it's Johnny Carson, and you hit it hard and you get a lot of hits right away, which makes the algorithm keep it going. But you're still expected to, first of all, know when to tape a special, and that's what most people don't know.
Right.
Like, there's so many people that just aren't even ready for an hour special, putting out hour specials. But it's costing them like $15,000.
Yeah.
Just to really cut it up and put it on Instagram. Like, that's your business card now. You got to spend $20,000 on your business card.
But you realize that's just chasing the dragon, right? Because now,
yes.
now you have to make that money back.
I know.
You have to find a way to get out there because it's still costing you money. First, it's the first 15.
Yeah.
Then there's all the hustle to promote that first 15.
Yeah.
That's also costing you.
Yeah.
So all you're doing is just constantly chasing that money back.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing.
For what?
And that's the thing. Like, I want to tape this special. Basically, just have. This is how bad my business model is. Just to have something, because my internet presence is scattered all over the place. There's a joke here. There's a joke there. I signed a contract for $35 when I was 29. That video's still up. I'm never going to get it down. And, you know, I'm telling my wife about this. It's funny to have a witness to my career now. And I'm basically just telling her I want to do this so I can quit. And have, like, something that's like, this is what I did, this is what I do. But talk about a bad investment financially.
You have it in you.
You do have it in you.
No, you do. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about people in general. You do have it in you. So
I know.
You should let that one go.
No, I know. I should put out the hour so I can write another hour. You know, you convinced me. It's worth the money. I'm taking out the loan.
No, don't blame me for that part.
I'm putting my apartment that I rent up as collateral.
Don't ever put that on me. I remember I told somebody that we know. Yeah. I remember when he was called me and he said, I'm thinking about, quitting my job and doing this. And I'm like, hey man, look.
Yeah.
We only got one shot at this life. But that being said, you do what you think is best for you.
Yeah.
Is that me telling him to quit his job? No, that's me saying, if you feel like this is the right thing to do, then you do it. If you don't, just know what comes with quitting your job and chasing your dreams.
Yeah. It makes it.
And then when it didn't work out for him, he goes, well, you were one of the ones that told me. And I'm like, motherfucker, no. Do not blame me for when it didn't work out. So now I have a hard time, like, fully encouraging people because I don't want to be held responsible for your decisions.
You should never be held responsible for that.
No.
And that dude was scrapping for, like, where am I? What's going on? It's Brian's fault.
What the fuck? That's like the dude that emailed me 25 years after high school and said the only reason why he's not in the big leagues is because I fucked off too much in the baseball program in high school. And I'm like, are we really fucking posting this on Facebook right now?
Oh my God, Facebook.
Yes. I didn't even see it. It was an all caps rant against me.
Oh my God.
25 years later that a buddy of mine sent me. And he's like, you're not going to believe this shit. This dude's going off in some high school Facebook group about how you wrecked his trajectory to the big leagues 25 years ago. And I'm like, what?
That's craziness.
I'm like, he didn't bring up the part where he was drunk 24/7 back in high school? Yeah. Did that come up in there?
That was your fault too. He went to the bar, he saw you, and he was like, Brian, you drink alcohol too? He was all excited.
Wait, you belly up to this thing?
I took an acting class a while ago, and the guy was like, all businesses need startup capital. Why is your acting business any different? Like, there's no shame in having a job and following your dream too. Because a creative process is very funny because I'll quit my job. I'll work on my career 8 hours a day. The fuck you are.
No.
The motivation it takes, it's the same as going to the gym. Like, sometimes it just takes you all day to get that half-hour workout in. Talking to yourself, pestering yourself. And the weird thing about writing and stuff is like you don't know how much work you're supposed to do every day. Somebody calls you, do you want to go to the movies? LA's filled with people. There's traffic on the freeways all day long in LA because nobody works.
There's a lot of people with idle time that are always driving somewhere.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And they're always there. The only time there's not that much traffic is the only people who are on the road are Uber drivers because they're like, fuck, I quit my job to be a playwright and now I got to drive Uber.
But they do probably blame someone who encouraged their dreams, right?
Yeah. I mean, the good news is most people won't tell you to follow your dreams.
No,
That's
not
the
for
good
where I
news.
come from. They were shocked. I don't know what it was like where you grew up, but they were shocked in where I came from that they were less surprised. It wasn't they weren't supportive, but they weren't gonna be like, yeah, absolutely. They were like, are you sure?
Yeah, I never even discussed it with anybody because it was never.
You just packed up and left.
Yeah, because it was never something anybody from my town would ever talk about, or like I didn't know you could really do. Like I didn't know you could be a comedian or a movie director or whatever. I didn't know that was like an option. Then I went to college and majored in essentially communications and film production. And you start to meet like-minded people and you go, oh, this is a possibility. But yeah, when I look back on it, I go, you did this why? Like who told you? And
well, no one. And it turns out no one told you.
No one told me. And like you tell people, I'd tell my parents, and they kind of did what you did with your friend. They're like, go try it. Otherwise you'll probably be miserable. But now I have, and I'm totally happy with my choices and everything, especially since I've hit this new phase in my life, which is like, I hate to use the example, but it's like the American Beauty phase minus the high school dating thing.
Right.
But where you go, oh man, this is all like an illusion. All this like hard work pays off. It doesn't. You know what else pays off? Just like surviving and paying the rent and just being around for like, you get the same phone call no matter what, I feel like. Where like somebody calls me and goes, hey, you want to go on tour? And I go, yeah. I almost feel like I could have just sat on my ass for 3 months and enjoyed myself. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I'm never going to go that hard into, like, I don't have the courage to like let go completely. I always have to work a little bit every day to feel like I'm doing something. And I think that's good. But this whole like working 12 hours a day and just like being online all the time, it's for the birds.
Like I told you, you've had an awakening, and you realize, I think you get to a certain age where you have a choice to make, right? You can accept the fact that you ended up right where you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Or you can spend the rest of your life airing your grievances for why you're not where you're supposed to be.
Right. I've also made it a couple times.
Yeah. But you could still air your grievances that you didn't make it enough and that you didn't get, somebody else got it better than you and you're better than that person.
Oh, you can do that all day long.
You can live in those grievances, right? And take it out on people on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Or you can be like, you know what? I enjoyed the ride. It's been a great journey. I've had some highs and lows, but I am exactly where I was supposed to be. Now what?
Right. But, and I'm 100% with that. I'll add to that. When you do have big moments and accomplishments in your life, the next week it's like, even people will ask you right to your face, what's next? And
yeah.
you're like, I don't fucking know. Keep trying, I guess. And then the next thing you know, those accomplishments become more and more distant and they're just not as relevant. And so you do have to do it again.
Yeah.
And so it's not, you feel like you're going to get to this plateau. Greg Fitzsimmons told me, he's like, you're never going to be like CEO of Target. It's not the same thing. You're never going to like make it like that. You're never going to be like, all right, I can chill a little bit now. It's like you keep having to prove your relevance.
Yeah.
Like Quentin Tarantino has to keep proving. Not really, but if he wants to be in the conversation for the Oscars next year, he does. You know, he can't put up Inglourious Basterds again for the Oscars. He's got to do something new, and it's got to be
resubmitting.
It's got to be just as good, or it really has to be better, or else people are going to be like, eh.
I guess it all depends on what you want out of this ride.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm changing. I want the life that I have, and I have it, so I'm going to be happy. Thanks for listening to the Full Charge Power Hour. Pledge on Patreon, patreon.com/The Full Charge, and make sure you vote, and we'll see you later. Peace.